Hello, my friends. Welcome back. It's really windy here, so I'm going to have to talk like this to prevent the microphone from getting wind blowing all in it. If you are new here, my name is Amber Amrine. I am a psychic medium and Reiki master in Karuna Crystal and Usui Reiki. Today we are at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Los Angeles, California. We're going to channel some afterlife stuff. So right now I'm sitting with Lorraine Graham and Milton Carlo. And there's somebody else over here. Who is this? Earl Graham. So I've got my little buddies right here. All right. When I was a kid, I always was very weary of going near, what is this called? Cemeteries. Because the energy was always really strong. And I know that's usually unusual for mediums. Typically, mediums will feel very comfortable in cemeteries because the energy is soothing. But for some reason, I always had a hyper focus on the people that weren't ready to pass on. So I would hear so much noise. I would get headaches. I would get nauseous. It just felt like a million people were like talking in my head. And it was very overwhelming for me. Now, when I come to cemeteries, I feel a lot more at ease. I think because I have more control over my abilities now, so I'm able to kind of navigate that discomfort and choose which voices I kind of tune into rather than just being at the mercy of anybody that wants to come through. So funerals, I keep saying that. What is this called? A cemetery. Why am I forgetting that word? Cemeteries are places that I do find a lot of comfort in now, and I do find them to be kind of like a safe space. So I've crossed that line. But the energy at cemeteries, I mean, depending on the cemetery, it kind of varies. This one, especially right now, feels very calm and soothing, but there is definitely, there's people being buried every day. So there are new spirits that are kind of processing their lifetime. When a person passes over, their energy doesn't usually stay at their location of like burial. Usually their energy lingers in places that held more value to their life, or places where there's unfinished business or really nice memories or where they associate themselves most of all. So typically there aren't too many spirits lingering around in cemeteries, I would say. For some reason, it does seem that there are more in coliseums, or there's a lot more. The energy in coliseums are far louder, and I think it's because when you are buried in the earth, your energy kind of comes back into the planet, and that it just kind of, I don't know, I guess there's like a neutralizing that happens or something. It kind of falls back into being like recycled material in a way, or recycled energy. Like it just kind of flows back into that cycle. Whereas with the Colosseum, it doesn't have contact with the earth. It's just in a wall, and I don't know what it is. I guess the sunlight's not really hitting it, and it just can feel a little bit heavier there. And that's not to say that it's necessarily any better than being buried. It's just, I don't know, it's just a different experience. It holds a different energy, Anyways, so I just wanted to kind of come here and see what came through. What's interesting is particularly where I'm sitting. I'm sitting on Lorraine, and she passed in 1987, so she's been gone a bit, and I don't really feel her energy very much. I do feel this very, like, soothing, gentle feminine energy. It's almost like if you had a grandmother that if you have a grandmother that wears like a little white dress to bed, and her smell is kind of deeply ingrained in that, and then she goes to, I don't know, run some groceries or something, and you go and grab her little white nightgown, and it just has that lingering scent of grandma. You know, that's kind of the energy of Lorraine over here. I'm feeling a feminine energy, and it feels very calm and loving. Like I'm feeling her kind of embracing me being here and just being with me. But it's like a whisper of her energy, so I definitely feel that she has moved on. You know, she's not earthbound anymore. Same goes with Milton. Milton does feel a little bit heavier. I actually wonder if he was a smoker. Or there's something about his lungs. Maybe he worked in something that was harsh on the lungs. I'm not sure, but I'm definitely feeling like my lungs are on fire a little bit. His energy feels a little bit more, it's a lot more, I guess, traditional, like masculine. It feels a lot more like unemotional and just, it's not cold. He still has warm energy, but it feels like an old soldier or something. I'm not sure what it is. Or like a businessman or something like that. It's a little bit more conservative. But he's not really, he doesn't care. He feels completely detached from his body. So me sitting here he's not, his lifetime is associated with memories, not with the physical body. So he doesn't even really resonate with this area, you know, like it's nice and it's beautiful and he's happy to be here. He's happy this is where his body is kind of being left to rest, and he likes his neighbors, his neighbors that he will be with forever. But, I wonder if his wife is buried next to him, or his sister or something. I don't know. Anyways, he likes his neighbors, but he doesn't feel like he's very present here. Earl Graham over here feels a little bit spunky. His energy almost reminds me of like a hippie or something like that. Yeah, he's got a spunkiness to him, or like something very unusual, actually. I want to talk to him. He feels like he's still here. I feel his energy here. He's not fully detached from his body just yet. Yeah, he's still very present. I'm seeing little kids running around, so I feel like whoever his family is, he's with them. I wonder if he has grandkids yet. I don't know why I'm seeing children. They may be grandkids, but I feel like his energy is with them, or some children. He really likes kids. Yeah, he's a very funny guy. I think he liked music. And I think he liked dancing, but it also feels like there's this secret quality to him where I feel like he held a lot of secrets, or maybe he almost had like an alter ego or something like that, where he just wasn't fully, I don't know, there were things to his nature that he kind of kept a bit hush-hush. Because it feels like he's got a wild side, and I don't know that everybody knew him to be that. I'm going to kind of open it up now just to see what energies want to chat. I'm seeing an older woman. I want to say maybe between 42 and 45. She has long hair, but it's very fine, so it looks very flat. I am seeing her wearing a dress. I think because it's just very comfortable. She liked very like loose fitting clothing. She also looks a bit like a hippie a little bit. She liked porridge or warm pudding. She liked warm, like wet stuff. I do feel like she had a van. I do feel like she did various hallucinogenics. She had a difficult time. She was kind of like a black sheep. It was interesting, actually, because I feel like with her family... Ouch. With her family, her family wanted her. They wanted to embrace her and accept her, but I feel like they kind of like, they wanted her to be a certain way that she was not. So I feel like she kind of chose to separate herself from her family, not because they were bad or the relationship was necessarily awful, but just because I feel like she felt they held her back. And I think now that she's passed, she kind of regrets that, because I think she mistook her family's love for her. I think it was a little bit more unconditional than she gave them credit for. So she made a lot of decisions out of fear, out of assuming she would not be accepted, when in actuality they wanted to accept her. They just needed some help, or like they were more malleable than I think she gave them credit for. So she does regret that. I think that may be why she's still earthbound. For those that are new here, typically what happens when somebody passes away is there's a period where you process your life, you kind of start detaching from it, and then you basically come into your soul, and you're a much higher frequency being that's more like universally present. So when a spirit is earthbound, so when they're a ghost or still stuck here in this realm, it's because there are things they have not yet been able to detach from or make peace with. Typically that can be something like trauma, something making them feel guilty, something that they longed to accomplish and never did, things like that, that just is kind of messing with them. They don't want to leave this plane just yet, leave their life just yet, because they're not done. They don't want to go. They're kind of resisting. When you come to peace with your circumstances and allow yourself to pass over, you actually are still present with your family and, with life and stuff. It's just a much more, deeper oneness, I guess, kind of connection to it, rather than being, in it, and having it be your identity. It's kind of like the difference between reflecting upon your childhood, and having nostalgic memories and just being grateful for the growth and stuff that you experienced, versus feeling like you have to go back to your childhood home and reliving those scenarios. It's kind of similar to that. So the person that keeps going back home could be synonymous with, it's kind of like a ghost kind of situation, whereas somebody that just looks back on it and reflects on it kind of thing is more of what happens when you come to peace with stuff and move on. There's a deer. So beautiful. Aww. Let's channel the deer. Trying to get her in the shot. I don't think you can really see her. No, she's way up there. You can't really see her. Alright. So, this deer, let's see. Her energy feels very anxious. It looks like she's looking for something. I wonder if she's hungry or thirsty or something like that. She does feel a little bit tired, and I do feel, I feel like she's looking, she's actively searching for something. There's a sense of, what's the word? Not anxiety, but when you desperation. There's a sense of desperation in her for some reason. I don't know if maybe she's looking for a friend, or I don't know. I feel like this is her home. She doesn't really know anything else. I do feel like the energy here, it feels very different for her. It almost feels like the ground is made out of a sponge. There's something there's a family of deers over there. It feels like the ground is it's got stuff to it. It's like the difference between walking on concrete versus walking on sand. When you're walking on sand, it like dips down, like there's something that's pressing against your feet, that's like actively reacting to it. And I feel like with her, the energy here, it feels like there are things everywhere. Like it feels like she's walking through a like energy. So she definitely feels a lot of energy. I mean, a lot of people come to visit their loved ones that have passed away, so there's a lot of emotion here. A lot of like constant exchange. It is a lawn, it is grass, there is sun, there are trees, so there's a lot of good earth and nature energy that is really helping like neutralize everything. And at the same time, there is like plenty for it to process in terms of like emotions and just the energy of those that have passed and stuff like that. So there's this constant cycle going on. So the land itself is very busy, but it feels very good. Like it feels very healthy, and it feels like there's this constant exchange and flow that happens. She can definitely feel that. So I think she really enjoys walking through here. Because it just provides a lot of like relief, and it just feels good. It feels good in her body. It's like walking on healthy land is also very healthy for our bodies. It's like very effective at cleansing our field. I want to, just out of curiosity actually, I want to talk to one of the trees. I'm going to talk to this guy right there. See what he's got to say. He feels newer. He doesn't feel like he's been here very long for some reason. He's pretty big though, so I'm assuming he's been here for a while. I don't know why he feels so young. He feels like a new kid in school or something. Yeah, that's interesting. He's happy. He's a little uncomfortable. I think because something about his energy just feels very new, so it feels kind of out of sync with the rest of the place here and the rest of the trees. It's like he's still kind of finding his place. Yeah, he's still finding his place, so he doesn't. He's not sure. He's not sure. He's happy. I mean, he's healthy. He feels good energetically. He's not too thirsty. Ow. These little things keep pinching me. He's not too thirsty. He's not too much sun, He feels good. He just is feeling a little bit out of place. And I think he wants more life. He enjoys all of the animals and insects that, where is he? There he is. That are, interacting with him every day, but I feel like he wants more. He feels like almost like a city tree that belongs in the city rather than he is in the city, but I feel like he just wants more. I'm wondering if perhaps the nursery that had originally grown him was like off of a busy highway or something like that, because it just feels like he wants more interaction. It feels like a very social tree. But he is happy here, and I do feel like over time he will find his place. Like, it feels like he offers a lot of life, and I think this area that, shining light, I think is a really good place to have here. I feel like he's going to help kind of invigorate the energy, and he already is. Like I said, I don't know why it feels like he's so new and fresh here, but I feel like in the long haul, it feels like he's going to be leading a really nice, reinvigorating kind of energy to this place. I'm feeling drawn to walk up the hill, so I'm going to go over there and then I'll come back. So I came up the hill, and this part of the cemetery definitely has a very different feel. It's not as nice and warm as I was actually walking up here, and I was walking through this lower section over there. The energy felt very warm, very inviting, almost like how it typically feels when you pass over and you are going into the light. It's very warm. It's very comforting. It's absolutely beautiful. This side, there's a girl that had passed away, and her tombstone has a little like film symbol on it, so I'm assuming she was like an actress or something. I was gonna read it, but as I stepped near it, I felt this like shooting pain in my foot, so she felt very territorial, so I left, and then I was passing this area and I got a really severe pain in my abdomen, so I decided to kind of sit here and talk through it, and then I felt this really large man behind me. He feels a bit overweight, so he has a hard time walking and breathing, but I feel him behind me, and his energy is very, very heavy, very uncomfortable. There's a lot of tragedy, I feel like, on this side of the cemetery, or perhaps just in the way that they are processing their life or unable to process their lifetime. Yeah, it's definitely a different vibe. Let me see what wants to come through. Okay, there's a man coming through named like Henry. Let me see. It's one of those. There's a Helen here, but that doesn't seem right. But he feels like he feels short. He's got a cowlick. It feels like he did law or something like that. He was either a lawyer or he had some sort of connection to a law firm. He may have worked at one. It feels like he was a businessman, or it feels like he tried to be, but he wasn't. I don't know. There's almost this feeling of him like playing a part. Like it wasn't really... Where are you? It wasn't really who he was or what his skill set was. It kind of, it just felt like he was playing a part, and I think it was more to it was just due to training. Henry, is this you? World War, no. But it could have been. I don't know. Here's a Henry. Can you see that? I don't know if it's him, though. He died fairly young. When did this person die? Oh, yeah, 46. That might be him. It felt like just due to training, he was, he just felt like he was supposed to be being a business person, so he was just kind of doing what others wanted him to do rather than what he kind of wanted to do in his heart. The energy here actually feels really good. I'm sitting at this Henry's tombstone. I don't know if this is the right guy or not, but the energy here feels good, so we're going to hang out here. But this Henry that I'm talking to, he's not being clear if that's him or not, I think, because he just feels associated to this part of the land, but not really his body. Or not, he's just here because he feels like he needs to be here. It's the same kind of thing of just like following the rules rather than kind of going where he wants to, because it's just like, oh, this is where my family put me, so I will stay. I think he always wanted to be more notable. He died fairly young, so he wasn't able to kind of reach what he wanted, but I also feel like he wasn't really honoring who he was or what his purpose was. He was very silly, very funny, like a comedian, or there's something about like, even he may have been like a juggler or like wanted to be like a clown or, very literally like goofy. And I don't feel like he ever really found a place to embrace that. It didn't make him sad. He didn't have a sad life necessarily. But I do feel like it felt a little bit empty because he was just always chasing external gratification. And I think he's just really kind of coming through right now just to be like, hey, if you've got the ability, do what you want. Be you. Like, fully embrace yourself. Life is short. Don't live it for other people. I'm seeing bubbles. And feels associated with him for some reason. I don't know if he liked bubbles or something nostalgic about them. Like chasing bubbles. Yeah, he's a funny guy. Alright, my friends. Well, I think that's about it for now. I'll probably do more of these just because this is kind of cool to meet new friends, just for fun. I'll probably try going to some other cemeteries. This one's just close by, so it's an easy one, and it's big and safe. But anywho, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Thanks for being on this little random ride with me. I'm sending you love, my friends, and I'll see you very soon.